Well, Israel has continued its strikes across Lebanon and Gaza undeterred, despite calls from the US Secretary of State to agree to ceasefires with Hezbollah and Hamas. From Jerusalem, Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran reports.
Israel's campaign in Lebanon has taken another turn with a series of significant strikes on the historic city of Tyre. The IDF issuing evacuation orders for the southern port, large swathes of the city said to be targeted, and around 3 hours later it began its raid. Thousands had already left Tyre over the last few weeks, worried about what the IDF might do in the city. A familiar experience for many across Lebanon. The numbers displaced during this conflict, around 1.2 million people. And in response, Hezbollah rockets continued to be fired across the border into Israel. Meanwhile, in Gaza, local health authorities say more people have been killed in strikes by Israel, the majority of them in the north, a part of Gaza which has been under siege by the IDF for well into 3 weeks now. In central Gaza, a worker for the UN aid agency there among those killed, as the IDF says it continued to target Hamas in the territory. The lack of food in Gaza prompting desperate scenes in the south, some waiting hours only to leave empty-handed. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has wrapped up his talks here in Israel after meeting with senior members of Benjamin Netanyahu's government. His message to them was clear on the issue of Lebanon: to stop the fighting and to respect previous United Nations resolutions on the situation. And with regards to Gaza, to acknowledge how much the IDF had been able to achieve in the last year of fighting, killing senior members of Hamas's leadership, being able to dismantle much of the organisation's military capacity and destroying much of its weaponry. Antony Blinken saying that the steps from here were clear.
This has come at the cost, great cost, to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. Now is the time to turn those successes into an enduring strategic success. And there are really two things left to do: get the hostages home and bring the war to an end with an understanding of what will follow.
Secretary Blinken met with some of the families of hostages while in Israel before flying out to continue his tour of the region with a trip to Saudi Arabia, meeting the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh. Secretary Blinken stressing that the United States will defend Israel if it comes under attack. A significant point to remember, seeing as Israel is still planning its response to that barrage of missiles fired by Iran earlier this month. Those preparations underway. And a reminder coming with a tour of an IDF facility by the Defence Minister Yoav Gallant, with a warning for the world.
After we attack in Iran, they will understand both in Israel and in other places what your preparation process includes and the arrangements and your readiness.
The timing of those strikes remains unclear. There have been some suggestions that Jewish holidays here in Israel have delayed those attacks, and that also Israel has been waiting for a US anti-missile system to be up and running before launching them. That deterrent now set up and ready to go.